Changing mindsets and receiving new philosophies can be challenging. To make things less stressful, we at Mental Shampoo give a light wash through dialogue that can help one clean up their mindset. In this season, it's all about the brothers. Tapping into the mind of a black man to share various experiences with hopes of helping more brothers have a change of heart and a cleaner mindset. So tap in for a fresh wash with the latest episode of Mental Shampoo. Yo, what's happening, man? It's Kimar coming to you all the way live. Your favorite country cousin, your favorite Mississippian, and your best friend. Back at it again. You dig what I'm saying? Got the John Lennon's on because I got a very special guest in the building. This right here is the Shade King. You heard? But before we get into all of that, this is Mental Shampoo. You know what I mean? Season 2, numero dos, if you will. This is the season where we're talking about brothers helping brothers, man. Want to get into the mind of a black man, and I had some great brothers on, man, and I had the pleasure. You're gonna see some shit with this one because this one right here is my guy. You know what I'm saying? Beyond being a part of the same fraternity, you know, shout out to all the good brothers out there, Omega Psi Phi. You dig what I'm saying? This is beyond fraternity. This is, blood couldn't make us any closer. Met this cat back in 2018, I want to say. Yep. And we have definitely grown a great kinship and brotherhood between the two of us. And this right here, man, my brother from another goddamn Sam
Goodie. The real Sam Goodie.
The real Sam Goodie. It's a
brother,
blessing to have you in the building, man.
My brother, hell of an intro. I see him all the time, hear him all the time, but dog, it is definitely an honor to be here in this place. Now, listen, we've shared a lot of conversations, my brother.
We share a lot of conversations.
We share a lot of conversations.
It's about to get real.
At the end of the day, I already know this one's gonna be.
You already
spicy.
know.
Spicy, dog. Spicy's for the people, man. But nothing like sitting down with a real brother, man. And that's all across the board, my G.
Thank you, man.
Hey, man. Without further ado, I am here.
Hey.
And I'm happy to be here.
Hey, you dig what I'm saying?
Say King. This is out of my my shade line.
Yeah.
The goodie frames.
The goodie frames
are kind of like, in reproduction, but I have them next show.
Come on, talk to him, man. I'm really excited about this, man. Again, as Sam mentioned, we have a lot of great conversations.
Absolutely.
A lot of conversations about life. A lot of conversations about just being a better individual, being a better man, becoming a better man, learning to be present. We talk about all things across the board. Some of the things I want to talk more about, too, with my brother here is the importance of relationships, but not just any relationship. Not talking about romantic relationships per se, right? These relationships are relationships that help us to live in our current age, being able to reflect on the past ages and decades that we've lived and having foresight from somebody who's presently there.
Absolutely.
For when we reach certain ages in our lifetime. Now, Sam and I are about 9-10 years apart.
Absolutely. You couldn't really tell based off the wisdom and knowledge that we both received from our elders and
big facts.
Each other.
Being from Mississippi, man, like that southern homegrown, you know what I mean? Listening to the elders talk on the porch.
Absolutely.
Picking up skills by default. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Just that they help us to maneuver a whole lot different in the world. Like we go to different parts of the world.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, it's something different about these cats. Like,
absolutely.
It's their southern hospitality.
It's something different and it's something common.
Believe that.
I think that's what a lot of people connect with us from. Because every time I meet somebody, they're like, yo, I just feel like I met you before.
Big facts.
It's just that big commonality. We're very personable people.
Yeah.
And you couldn't tell if I ain't met you just now or 10 years ago.
Talk to them.
You know what I mean?
Spicy.
That's all. It always been that way, man. And that doesn't matter. Like, I think whenever we gravitate to good conversations and we can always tell when something ain't really just hit us because we'll kind of step back.
Big facts.
And be like, you know what I mean? But those people that we do engage with more, it comes from just that commonality of you just feel that good spirit. You dig? And then when you mix the spirit with it too, that's just definitely a great conversation.
That's what you call a good gumbo.
A good gumbo.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey man, you said something that made me think about one word.
Okay.
Discernment. How important is it to be able to read the room, discern the people in the room, What does that look like for Sam Goodie?
Well, for me, what I've learned over the years and still currently now is that you have to really be spiritually connected inside yourself to know that something just ain't hit you right. And you have to be able to know that real quick. Discernment keeps you out of harm's way for things that are not for you. See, sometimes you can be around people and you're actually receiving some of the things that they're receiving. That's good or bad. So that's why I try to keep myself around good spirited people, not just good people.
I love that.
Good spirited people. And you just have to be able to check your own spirit, know what that's about. Kind of research your knowledge on spirituality for whatever people choose to follow. But again, there's a commonality on it. And when you just, I don't even think we ever had like an issue to where we couldn't discuss because we're able to communicate with each other.
Thanks.
So if something hit us wrong between us two, as men, we're able to communicate it effectively.
Yeah.
But sometimes a bad spirit is just a bad spirit, and I don't want nothing with it.
No
You know what I'm saying?
No parts.
So, I mean, discernment is important because when you travel through life, I think everybody that you're connected to is connected to your goal.
Say that again.
So I don't like to really connect with people that's not a part of the bigger picture. Some people say it's acting funny, but it's really not. I'm acting money. I'm acting money. I'm like, let me stay focused on, why you don't come over here? Because I just can't.
The energy ain't right.
Yeah. Eagles don't flock with chickens all the time.
Hey.
And discernment keeps you from that because if you keep hanging with those chickens, sooner or later you're going to start clucking too.
Talk to him.
I can't do that, dog. We're going to get spicy early, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead. But discernment is important.
Discernment.
As an individual, as a person, as a career person, as an entrepreneur, as a father, as everything, man. Discernment keeps you out of harm's way. That's it, bro.
I love that. Hey, man, one thing I learned about this life thing is that life is about people. All right? Now, discerning the right people to be around and who to stay away from.
Perfect.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
It's important that we have solitude in a lot of different areas in order to like rebuild and regroup and grow more individually. You know what I'm saying? To make sure we stay our authentic self, but it's also as important to make sure you're getting around those right people to help catapult you to a certain level. Like you said, I love that. You said that beautifully, talking about, connecting with the right people and attaching those people, being in alignment with your goals.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Here's what shocks me about me and you, though. We hit the nail on the head damn near every time. Because I think whenever we speak, we speak from a personal standpoint, but we also generalize the conversation.
Big facts.
And again, this goes back to that commonality. So it's not my way or the highway. It's like people in general shit, XYZ. You said something a second ago and said that we need people, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we need people. And you completed it. We need the right people. But in order to know who's the right person that you need, you must be the right person in you, though.
Talk to them.
You got to, because sometimes discernment, again, feelings get involved with all kind of relationships. And people attach themselves with people based off things that they have, but not who they are. See, I don't base my things off. I don't base people that's around me by things that they have. It's who they are internally, because those things can get washed away.
Big facts.
You a genuine person.
Thank you.
Been that way, and you continue to grow. I can connect to that because I myself a genuine person that continue to grow. It's not what we have. I think the person that has the least of things offer the most because they're not weighed down by things.
I love that.
Ooh. The invoice gonna be coming soon. I'm trying to tell you. My brother, you have to understand when we have these conversations for the masses.
Come on, man. We got to go on
masses,
tour.
You dig what I'm saying?
Nah, real life.
That's not just for me and you. That's for the people,
Believe
man.
that.
And I tell people all the time, we need people. But again, isolation, I was reading something the other day. A lot of people take isolation and just, people would say you're lonely, but it's not loneliness. Sometimes you have to put yourself in solitude. When you put yourself in solitude, so you put certain plants by certain windows.
Correct.
Some go outside, some come inside.
Correct.
The right amount of light, the right amount of water, the right amount of energy. When you put yourself in solitude, you just getting to know yourself. Solitude is by choice. Loneliness is by force.
Woo!
Keep going, dog, because I'm telling you, I'm gonna go somewhere with this. Listen, man.
Hey, when I tell y'all, look, this is like every time we link up, man, we just on camera with it this time, but it be like this every time.
Every time.
Like y'all really on the inside with this one. For
y'all
real,
on it, and that's just the way we are, dog, because you bring it out of me. And I tell you all the time, be very careful about the people you bring around you.
Facts.
Because they gonna get a piece of you. And it's hard for us not to give a piece of us because that's just who we are. So I'd rather be alone, because I tell you, when I see another eagle, just as yourself, I know you're an eagle.
Yes, sir.
You ain't no chicken.
Come on.
Let go, dog.
Ain't no clucking.
Ain't no clucking.
You dig what I'm saying? Now, that word alone, right? Pastor Torrey Roberts released a book talking about balance. And he redefined the word alone, right? And he said, you know, to change people's perspective on the word from making it sound so negative, you know, alone, I think he said in the Latin background, it means all one. So making sure that time you're spending alone, right, you're becoming all one. You're becoming whole, right? So becoming the right person, you know what I mean? That is imperative. That is essential. You know what I mean? In order for you to go out here and migrate, politic, and shoot the shit with whoever you need to speak with.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, going back a little bit, because we both share the same fraternity, something that we both learned early on in the fold is friendship is essential to the soul.
Absolutely.
What I want to touch on is how has, you know, your relationships help you both professionally as well as personally?
Which relationship? Just relationships?
Relationships in general, yeah. The ones that are core to you. How has that helped you in you know, in your professionally as well as your personal life?
well. So one thing when I got to the point, let me try to start from the root. A lot of us, we're not even raised, we're guided in a sense by our environment.
I like that.
And that way you start to do things that you see, not being taught, but you're being taught by your environment as well. You know what I mean? Whether it's liquor stores here, whether it's bad relationships here, whether it's sometimes church there. So you start to begin that those are just your ways. That's just all I'm privy to. By default. But traveling through life, you don't know that that's just who you are. So now introduction into relationships, whether it's business, whether it's this and that, when you something is in everybody to where we meet at an intersection of, I can't keep doing this shit no more. Right? So now insert relationships. Now we've all had some relationships based off of just what we just knew growing up. But when you start to grow and be like, you know what, I'm just not feeling that anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. You start to, again, check the people that are around you. But then you start looking at the relationships that you have with people. And the right relationship, when the things don't feel right, sometimes I used to leave them because I'm like, that's just not what I'm used to. But what we're used to is basically that same environment that we was raised in that we had no choice to become in. So now when you're starting to be like, you know what, I want better. Now you have to start carving out your own things. And when you bring people in your life, and I know I might be going the long route, but that's just how I am. You start to pick and choose those relationships and friendships that are for the long road, but they're going to be challenging.
Facts.
In the beginning, it don't fit. Like what this challenge is like, I don't want to be challenged. I'm comfortable the way I am. I
like that. That's
the
good.
right relationship is going to challenge you.
Believe that.
And when you want to do better, when you're at that intersection of staying the same or changing, you have to start accepting the challenges because that's only going to make you a better person. Insert now relationships. Every ship's supposed to take you somewhere.
Thanks.
Right? Relationship, friendship, if it's a ship at the bottom of it, at the end of it, it's supposed to take you somewhere.
Talk to me.
Any ship that's on the dock is just
sitting there
watching the days go by, stagnant, and I don't like still waters.
Come on, man.
I need a river. So with that being said, relationships are important to me because professionally, the right ones are going to say, hey, you might need to look in this about yourself, look in that about yourself, because I see something that's just not adding up with the bigger picture of who you care to become. And when they say that, they're going to be like, look, do this. Turn, look. See that mirror? Look in that mirror. Don't look at the object of what you see. Look through that, what you see. it took relationships are important because take me and you for instance, we had to learn how to communicate with each other first.
Facts.
I can look and be like, dog, you
hold that thought, right?
Go ahead.
Because I gotta get them context.
Okay.
I think that Sam and I have grown to be so close, man, because we both challenge each other in such a way. You know what I'm saying? Because I like that he brought our brotherhood up. Like, it's some points where I disagree with Sam, and at some points where Sam disagrees with me.
Yeah.
But in the same vein, we both know it's for the amelioration or the improvement of oneself.
Absolutely.
And that makes us better individually, but also within our kinship.
I've always looked at what was one thing I always suggest to you. I said, dog, because I'm 9, 10 years older than you, what do I tell you? What do I ask you to do?
Hey, I ain't gonna hold you. Like, this is some of the best advice that any of my friends has ever given me. So I really appreciate this. And I was gonna get to it, so I'm glad that you brought it up first. Sam always tells me, you know, find somebody 10 years younger than you so that you can give them the game.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like Kendrick Lamar,
I
we
was
just talked about.
I was just about to say it.
He talked about
I'll give you the game.
Dedication.
Yeah.
With Nipsey Hussle, he said, I give you the game, go back to the turf.
And give it back.
And give it right back. Sam has blessed me with some immeasurable amount of mental shampoo. And every time we have conversations, even conversations like this, because we in the same vein, it's like, yo, he always ends it. Like, hey, Kane, make sure you're finding somebody.
Make sure you passing it.
That's 10 years younger than you, man, so that you can pass the game on.
Absolutely, man. We have a as men and as black men, I know I was raised by OGs and my pops, and I'm gonna get back to the point on the importance of relationships. But we saw them do things, but we rarely heard them have conversations.
Facts.
And even the conversation they had, our brains were just a bit too immature to understand what they were saying.
Yep.
So I've learned from a lot of OGs and I've challenged them, but I started to ask certain questions. See, a lot of us just go through life and don't ask questions. So I would ask certain questions, and whether they give me the answers or not, I'm always seeking. So that was before the frat, right? So the frat brought us together, but I think it was just something even deeper than that in us as individuals. Natch, you from Natchez?
Correct.
I'm from Chocolate City, Mount Bayou, Mississippi.
Yep.
So we come from those small towns of iron sharpening iron. And one thing I always say about us, we don't run from the friction.
Not at all.
So when them sparks get to flying, when we care to grow, we gonna stick there, we gonna grow, and we gonna get it out. But at the end of the day, not to lose that point, it's just, bruh, they important. The relationships are important because when you learn it from other people, you're supposed to pass it along. The best thing you can do in life is really be of service to other people.
Facts.
I had a lady older than me. She turned around and she met me in New Orleans one time, and she said, "Babe, where you from?" And I told her, and she just apologized me as a total stranger. She said, "Because my generation left y'all to figure it out on your own, because we were told to just work, take care of this, take care of that. Don't say nothing, don't ask no question." That's why I dislike the phrase in the black community, because I said so. But what are you saying? Why are you saying that? So now it's our job to effectively communicate.
For sure.
Not as what I say, this is what I was taught. When you challenge me and say, "Well, dog, why you think like that?" And I break it down to the best of my ability, you be like, "Well, how about you look at it like this?"
Perspective.
And I'm open to it. We didn't have that coming up. That's why we had to live life to figure it out on our own. But I'd be damned if I leave you or any other black man in the community or anybody listening to this astray, as if this forward thinking, just the age means nothing.
Nothing.
There's some grown boys out here, and there's some young men out here that's trying to really raise these families and community. Who are we going to leave our kids in the hands of? I just had a youngin', bro.
Yeah.
If I don't make sure I sharpen you, I stay sharpened, and you don't sharpen somebody, we just leaving our hands in. We leaving our future in the hands of nobody. I can't do that, bro. I can't do it. Yeah. So not to. I'm sorry.
No,
I get lengthy.
Please, man.
I get lengthy.
That's
why relationships are important.
Let's go.
Because what I do personally, the career I choose, who I am on the job,
correct,
in my family, I wanted to be consistent. I used to compartmentalize things, but when them people started coming in my life, say, bro, you got problems. And I was ready to accept it. I changed those where I felt needed changing, right? But I had to do the biggest change. I got into solitude and started praying and asked for better character. When a man wants to correct his character, it's nothing else you can do with that man but bless up.
Bless up.
Bless
Shout out to our brother Jeff.
Jeff, bless up, man. Real talk, bro. That was a long ride. I'm sorry.
Nah, man, please, man. This is a safe space. Again, we want to show the world the way Black brothers think and show them the positive relationships that we have with one another. Indeed.
I'm sorry. And edit it like as you should.
We raw out here, man.
People go from $100 to $1,000 to $100,000 to $1 million, not by the works that they do, but it's about the relationship that they build.
Correct.
So I get that we can have all the game and all the stuff in the world, but if you don't have relationships with people, you ain't going nowhere. So that's why I look at it like that, bro. It's not timing. It's about you just ain't made the right relationship.
Ooh, it's I think we may have touched on this before, but the documentary talking about the Black Godfather.
Yeah.
And he talked about, he said, man, I don't have problems. I have friends. You know what I'm saying? Buddy did a lot of things talking about service, being an inspiration, being, a resource, if you will, to his friends, his community, to where when he did have some hiccups, there weren't really hiccups.
Right.
Because out of the kindness of his heart, people were able to return the kindness back to him and help him where he needed. Another couple of things, right? As you were speaking, I thought about Oprah Winfrey when she talked about, it's a famous clip on the internet, and she said, you are responsible for your own life.
Absolutely.
So don't sit around necessarily waiting for nobody. Become the right person, like we mentioned earlier, right?
Correct.
And then those things will be added unto you, if you will. Seek ye first the kingdom of God. All these things will be added unto you. You dig what I'm saying? Another thing for the readers out there, Dr. Miles Monroe, one of my favorite speakers of all time. Love Miles Monroe. God bless those who rest. He has a book called Passing It On. We talked about the baton. We talked about, from one hand to the next in terms of generation mode. It's important to say you're not really a success unless you have a successor. Elisha, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not truly a success until you have a successor. Like a lot of us, let's keep it a buck, right? Absolutely. Keep it funky, like Cam Newton be saying. You know what I'm saying?
One time.
A lot of us try to withhold information, and it starts back in high school. You know what I mean? When I was in high school, there was like, somebody may ask, oh, where did you get that? Where did you get this? Oh, don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Low key with it. Yeah. It's like, share the resource. Because that develops a bad habit, I think.
Absolutely, right? It does.
And when you get information on how to build a business, how to start an LLC, or how to get through a certain emotion. Because these days we are lacking emotional intelligence. So even getting a life hack in terms of how to handle, certain emotions, some people will withhold that information.
Man. I'm gonna keep it funky. I'm out of my box. I'm out of the old me. That's why the name changed on social media. You did, to the real Sam Goodie, because the reason I called it the real Sam Goodie now, because one, I'm real. I did Sam because Sam is who I am. I wanted anybody I connect with know me. And I'm gonna ask questions that who are you? So I can definitely make sure you know who I am. Goodie, Goddie, comes from Goodie Mob.
Facts.
That raised me. That Soul Food album and all those collections till this day make sense. And it was all about the community, bro. It was all about forward thinking as men and just as Black people. And coming from where we are, that's who we are. So I care to make it to make that name personable to people, man. But it's you were just saying something a second ago. I don't want to drop the ball on that because I had a good point that I wanted to make off of that.
Take your time. Why you think on that though?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I do want to go back to OG. Right. I want to go back to just the term OG. All right, because some people get the term OG confused, and oftentimes they mishandle it.
Okay.
If you would share your definition on what an OG is and what makes a person an OG.
Survived some of the hardships in life. I can't say survive life because they still living. And I think that when they survived enough in life to where now they can teach others from their mistakes. I don't more so come from a do as I do. Let me suggest another option. Let me give you another option. So therefore, see, a lot of people coming from where we come from or how I was raised, do it like this, but it's another way to do these things, and you're only teaching me from your comfort. And it's hard for me to do that because the world is forever changed and evolving.
Yeah, man.
So it's like, give me like the basis and allow me to implement that in the way that I see the world too as well, right? So OG is somebody that done lived through life and that has reached a point in being able to share the knowledge.
Yeah.
Like that, I know what I was about to say earlier. I'm glad I got back to it because I didn't want to have to chop up edit shit. I too was one of those ones that learned so much and didn't share it.
Whew.
I did. So now I'm at a point where, why would you not share this information? This new way of technology, and I just feel better knowing myself. I am a server. I am a giver. Why not get a game for free? Because that way you can't do shit with it anyway. But when you do that, I like to see you take this and run with it. I like you to take any parts of life. My nephews, everybody that I teach, I do that. When I was holding it, I think it was more so because I done put all this damn work in, bro. I can't just give you anything.
Yeah.
And I look at that as my household too. When people come to my house, if I invited you there, you can eat like I eat. You dig what I'm saying? But I just felt like when I was going through things, learning this, it was so tough and learning it. I just guarded it because I put value on those things, and that wasn't it. I had to realize I was the value. And a lot of, unfortunately, I just lost a sister, right, to COVID. And the legacy she left behind from all those people was that she was a server. It was nothing that anybody asked her to do. She didn't do it with a good heart, right? Whether she knew it all, and she gave it her best effort, and she did it with excellence, as my sister said. But when she started giving it, dog, when you give certain things, I put it on Facebook the other day, when you give good, I promise you it's going to come back. You dig what I'm saying? So when I started learning, like, you can't keep those things in, man. Give that game. Give that. And that's why I want to make sure when I check that character, whatever you ask me for, dog, you can have it. If I see that you need it, I'm not going to wait for you to ask me for it. I'm going to go ahead and insert it. And I think a lot of people at my age, in my lane, doing certain things, it's, again, our job to move the culture forward through knowledge and wisdom. You're going to learn. I don't care where you go. The tools I'm going to give you, I'm going to sharpen it first, but I'm going to teach you how to keep them sharpened. But the only way you're going to sharpen your tool is if you pass it forward and you pass it back, because they got to sharpen you too.
For sure.
That's it, man. That's it.
Now, you just said something, though. You pass it back because they'll sharpen it too.
Yeah.
Right? Because not only can they learn from us, but we can also learn from them.
That's our friction.
That's our friction.
And I think the frat, if it didn't teach us nothing else, it taught you, hey, bro, yeah.
Big facts.
You did?
Yeah.
Because plenty of nights I was like, I know you fucking lying. and finish it like I finished. I know you fucking lying.
Yeah.
But when you stay the course and you see it through, man, it prepared us for life.
It really did.
It prepared us for life, and we were able to communicate that effectively. You start to see the fruits of your labor. Dog, I'm super proud of you on that point. I got to say this. Super proud of you for you was overthinking it at first. And you started looking around to other people that were, quote unquote, progressing and moving forward. Your time was always going to come.
Facts.
So what I had to keep telling you, whenever you're ready, go. But I kept sharpening you, sharpening you.
That's a fact.
You knew what you needed to do.
That's a
you
fact.
just had to get it done.
That's a fact.
Right?
Yeah.
So for anybody out there that even thinks that stop looking at the world. Don't live by the world's standards. But put some pressure on yourself. Put some pressure on yourself in the right way. And when you open up that book to do what you do, ain't no coming back, because you ain't gonna let that nigga down. When you look in that mirror, don't look at the object that you see.
Come on, man.
Don't look at the object that you see, because who you're going to become in the next 100,000 episode, you're not going to be the same person you are today.
That's a fact.
Give yourself some grace to stay the pace. Stay in your own lane. Do your thing.
Yeah. Spicy.
I'm proud of you, dog.
Thank you, man.
Real
God
shit.
bless you,
I'm
man.
proud. That means
I'm
I
humble,
know that
man.
that the conversations we share, it was a good guidance to give you options. I didn't tell you what to do.
Thanks.
I knew in time you'll get it done.
Oh, for
and you
sure.
motivating the hell out of me to get up on my ass
Come
and get
on,
this
man.
good game going, boy. Look at you, man. Look at you, man. Look at you, bro.
We're going to be on some national and international stages for sure. Mental Shampoo is going to be one of the biggest, you dig what I'm saying, situations, networks.
Absolutely,
you know what I
man.
mean? We centered around mental wellness.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Renewing the mind, seeking first the kingdom. You dig what I'm saying? Putting works to the faith, because without the works, the faith is dead. All of those things, man, because, a lot of people try to, or a lot of people expect things to just come to them because of what they can do. But, you know what I mean? It's the hard work and the smart work, not just the skill and the ability, you know what I mean, that really helps to move things forward.
A lot of people are afraid of failure. But, as they say, success is just failure turned inside out.
Facts.
But that's the only way you learn. You know what I mean? Thomas Edison went with the lights, man. You know how many times he attempted at the lights until that one time he got it right?
It was like 1,000.
1,000, yeah. So that 999 times,
talk to him.
You've learned that many times just to get it right that one time. So you got to stay the course. You can't quit on yourself, man. You have got to your mind got to be strong. Which I want to ask you, dog. What was the purpose of the mental shampoo? Give me a synopsis of that and how strong your mind really have to be, because again, the only difference between a broke person and a wealthy person is your mindset.
That's correct.
Why is it? Give me a synopsis of mental shampoo.
Man, never had a guest to ask me that, so this is beautiful. Mental shampoo, again, is based on my favorite scripture of all time.
Okay.
Do not conform to the ways of the world.
Absolutely.
Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Absolutely.
On a daily.
Yes.
It is an important and a responsibility for us to renew our mind daily, because every day we see things that are more negative than positive, and things that hurt us more than benefit us.
Absolutely.
So it's like when we're able to switch the perspective on a lot of things and wash our mindsets, if you will, have a clean slate, if you will. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of unlearning and relearning with mental shampoo as well.
Okay.
Unlearning a lot of the things that we grew up with that no longer serve us in this point of our lives.
Absolutely.
And we don't look to use again in certain points of our lives. But there are some things that we can unlearn and relearn that can benefit us as we grow older. Right? So it's all about lathering up, you know what I mean, with books, with great conversation.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Lathering up in that way to clean our mindset in order to, because it's only so much you can do by yourself.
Absolutely, yes.
So being around the right people, like we mentioned, reading the right materials, watching the right things, being careful what we allow in our eye gate and our ear gate, what we listening to. That also is a part of your quote unquote diet. I don't like to say the word diet per se, because it's more so of a lifestyle. You know what I mean? Diets are limits. Lifestyle is limitless.
You
know what I mean?
Everybody needs a lifestyle prescription though for themselves though.
So I just want to wash the minds of people all over the world, man, and let them know, like you said, mindset is everything. And once you get that right, when in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Absolutely.
But be authentic and understand understand what it is that you are set here to do for real.
Understand why your branch is on that tree.
You dig what I'm saying? Mental wellness is the goal, man. I'm looking to work with a whole bunch of mental health and mental wellness organizations with mental shampoo. To renew minds out here.
That is amazing. I'm glad I asked that question. Because I think the people should know that. Good information for me myself. But one of the keys that you said, you have to wash your mind daily.
Every day.
It's like you wash your clothes. If you wash your clothes more than you wash your mind, that's a problem.
Come on.
because your mind got stains on it too. We can scroll on this social media all damn day. You don't understand. You stain in your mind. You dig what I'm saying? So washing that daily, forgiving people daily, just having the right things.
Forgiving yourself.
The biggest change. The biggest change in me.
Yeah.
You forgive people.
Yeah.
You know. But until you forgive yourself, you'll forever be stuck. Dog, that was the biggest change. In order for me to check my character, I had to let some things go, dog. I really had to forgive myself. And that made me feel that much better. So now, again, I think I indirectly, without even knowing mental shampoo, I think I do that daily.
Come on, man. Affirmations, forgiveness.
You have to, man. And dog, you feel so much better. After the shower, just think about the routine of your health, your care, your hygienes. When you feel refreshed, imagine your mind when you just watch that daily.
Big facts.
The stuff you read, the right conversation. When I really communicate with people, that's how I know it's a gift God gave me with that communication, because of how they light up, how I repeat the last thing that they say, how I'm very present in those conversations. It could be a total stranger. And attentive. I can talk to a total stranger for 30 minutes. They be like, damn, I was just passing by. Dog, you just have to really just be there, man.
That's a fact.
Your mind got to be clear, and you got to wash it daily, man. I'm excited in the space that I'm in, that we both are in, because it invites people to have these conversations. We're going to make sure that, not just make sure, you're an example of what mental shampoo is. I'll say that.
Thank you.
So a lot of us are not just, a lot of people out here talk it, they don't live it. If you go on your page and you're consistent with the content that you create, right? So stay on that, because like they say back in the old days, I'd rather see a sermon than hear one any day. You dig what I'm saying? So yeah, dog, keep washing your mind. People out there, if you ain't never tried it before, declutter your brain first. The toughest part for me in forgiving myself was the unlearning. The taking the stuff out I call it the closet. The taking the clothes in the closet that was packed in the back that you ain't worn a year or two. When I went in my mind and started unpacking that and unlearning that, that shit was hard. And if you ever know the shit that's in the back of your closet, that shit just started weighing down. It started hanging on the hanger, and the fucking hanger, like, everything just, get rid of that shit. Clean that shit up. Clean your mind up. Do what you need to do, man. Dog, mental shit. One time for mental shampoo.
One time for mental shampoo, man. Cheers.
Yeah. And dog, you stayed on me about the other thing that you got on the right side of your head. I know in time is going to happen.
Oh, it's done.
And I think that it took us both to kind of figure out how we was going to fit in this lane, and then it happens. But dog, you took the lead, you took the baton, it was already in you. I appreciate you. I'm watching you. Share the conversation on the way.
Iron sharp as iron, man.
Share the conversation on the way. It's on record now, right? It's on record now. You talked about it. You like, OG, when you gonna come with it?
Just saying.
When you gonna come with it?
The people need it, Sam Goodie. Bruh, this is a beautiful conversation.
Absolutely.
It means a lot to me.
Absolutely.
The big brother always needed and wanted. For sure, man. We can politic and shoot the shit and build at the same time. And I think a lot of brothers don't necessarily have that space to do so.
Absolutely.
With us being the kind of men that we are, you know, for everybody that's out there, if you're in the area or virtually, whatever the case, man, we are both approachable.
Absolutely.
Open guys.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? If you feel like you don't have a space to necessarily be open, you know what I mean? You got two brothers in us.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
The importance of relationships. Life is about people. You know what I'm saying? Listening to the OGs, listening to the YGs.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Not dropping the ball, okay, with those that are coming behind us, you know, making sure that they're good, and then in return, they will make sure that we're good. You know what I mean? It's a give situation.
Absolutely.
Intergenerational relationships, we talked about that all throughout this conversation.
Absolutely.
But That is the importance of intergenerational relationships, because there are different perspectives from different eras, and one is for preparation as we grow more and more into these older years, and then the other one is for understanding what's coming, what's new. You know what I mean? Not being stuck in our old ways.
Absolutely.
Right? But learning the new ways, not to be hip, if you will, but just to remain alert.
Yeah.
To be in the know. You know what I mean? To be able to relate. To be able to relate.
And be relatable.
And be relatable.
Yep.
Talk to
in your way.
In your own authentic way.
Yep. If you're gonna be here in this life, I would care to be in the know of what's going on versus in my old ways, because those days are over with. So if you're around people that are still thinking that old school way, let them stay where they are.
Big facts.
Because a lot of people won't get out of their own ways.
Facts.
And I had to get out of my own way. I challenged other people to get out their own way, but I started to spend less time with those who are stuck in that place.
Yeah.
Because I have to move forward, and never think that you're better than somebody because you speak better than them, because you carry yourself differently. Watch yourself when people say humble yourself. Don't just humble yourself. It might be some shit that they need to do. You dig what I'm saying? So be a good person. I'm telling you, I've been across the spectrum on a lot of these things, man. Yeah. And because I'm the baby out of 7. And I was that last one that wasn't going with the structure of go to school, go teach, go do this. I'm like, nah, it's something that's better for me out there. So I took the not hardship. I took what I loved, which was music and photography and things like that. And I took the road less traveled, right? Because your family will even put you in a box of staying in their comfort so they can help protect you and guide you as far as they know.
For sure.
But when we left and started doing certain things, I knew it was something different in the world. And that's why I'm able to gravitate to the newer generation now, because they're not staying with the standards that we have. And if you look outside, the world don't even have the same standards, right? I work in places where they still have modern day slavery. Slavery ain't over with, but they still controlling your mind. That's why, again, it's still important to watch your mind, but understand that's what's coming and what's now, man. So all of that is important. We have a generation now that's coming up that are not having these kind of conversations.
Yeah.
And they're really killing themselves off and doing things because I call it the Grand Theft Auto generation. Because parenting, what I'm learning now is you have to really be involved in your kids' life to understand their thought process. But because we still dealing with our things while we're parenting, it's hard to know that we're not really taking care of what's in our household, right? So a kid can be in the house suffering. Unfortunately, the SWAT community done lost a life to suicide. Now, many people saw them in that being, but did you really talk to them? Did you really see them? Did you really know that was that strong friend?
That's real.
So it's very important, man, that we really ask the right question and allow people the space to do so. You and I we have an introduction conversation every time we meet, but before long, we're going to really be like, so what's really going on?
What's really going on?
Right?
Yeah.
But in a space where you know how to communicate with me and I'll give it, and you got to give a little to get a little.
Facts.
Right? You got to give a little bait. You dig what I'm saying? So try to use some of those tools and communicate with this younger generation to where we're putting ourselves in a better future.
Facts.
Because I don't want them raising me if they mind ain't right. And if you're struggling with raising kids, if you're going through stuff in life, know your threshold. Know your capacity on, I'm not at my best right now to give you 110% of me. So let me put you around a community of people that if I'm falling short, which pride to kill the black community too. I got it. No, you don't. Let me come and help out to do XYZ until you get to that point. There are so many conversations that you and I have, the way we do communicate, it needs to be shared across the board.
Big facts.
It needs to be shared across the board, because the key to it is to prepare us to be here physically. That's why we work out. That's why we eat right, because we want to at least be the OGs in the community. So when you need me, when that 10 years behind you might not have the answer, but you can bring them over here and let them talk to the OG, and I can give them the game.
Talk to 'em.
I'm trying to live my life to where I eat right and do things to make myself available for my son and for the whole community that's around me too. But if I don't know it, I'm gonna call KC. I'm gonna call Kimar because I know he do. And if you don't, guess what else? You're gonna call somebody else. So it's very important. Women are doing it. Kudos to women. But conversations are being had, but we've really gotta we have to be mindful of the messages that we're putting out there, the importance of the conversation that we're having, and really glad that we're having this conversation now because the way this is how we talk all the time.
All the time.
Just minus the old fashions and shit right now, right? That's how we get down.
Yeah.
But it gives an example of how two men should talk, the question that we should answer.
Correct.
Even if not knowing, don't let pride get in the way of saying, I don't know. Matter of fact, come with me. Let me take you over there. That's another thing the frat taught me. You dig what I'm saying? So I think that prepared us for life on this end. But we belong to the community. Our voice belongs to the community. Our service, our story belongs to the community. And that's what I'm going to give. This not just for men.
Yeah.
This for people in general.
You
dig what I'm saying? So,
Yes,
yeah, man. It is what it is, man.
hey, man.
Yeah.
Hey,
I ain't taking
man.
mine. I had a long night, but yeah.
Hey. This was a beautiful conversation. Y'all need to watch this 3-4 times.
They gonna miss something in there.
You gonna get something new every time you watch.
Every time you watch.
Because again, life is about people.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm very happy that I was able to get my big brother on.
Absolutely.
Like we said a few times throughout the conversation, we really let y'all in on frequent conversations that we already have.
Yeah.
This brother is a phenomenal brother, phenomenal friend.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? He's a phenomenal father.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Shout out to Sam and other brothers who are my friends and have kids. You brothers are doing an amazing job with your children. We're breaking the stereotype, if you will, of black fathers not being involved in their child's life. There was an article that said, the black family has been reconstructing itself for the past 10, 20 years.
Okay.
Slowly but surely we're getting there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we getting there.
But we get
So
that's
shout
the
out
thing.
to all
We
my guys.
It's a whole lot of getting out here.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My guy.
Yeah. Hey, if you're not a father, understand that what you still give matters.
Come on.
All the coaches, if you ain't listen, man, whatever you're giving to your community, you're still raising these kids, man. And I would challenge you, don't be selfish out here learning life and doing things on your own. It ain't about you. It ain't about you, bro. What you go through in life, if you quit during a time of hardship, your testimony, this is for everybody else. It's for somebody coming behind you. So you have to endure life hardship.
Indeed.
You know what I'm talking about?
Indeed.
You got to endure life hardship and be open enough to share that, to sharpen somebody and be like, you know what? Thank you, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, bro. Amazing.
Sheesh.
Amazing. Hey, look, y'all can find me at The Real Sam Goodie.
You did.
That's you told me not to say it. TheRealGoodie.
Sam Goodie.
And one time for the Goodie Gang. One time for the Goodie Gang. I'm sorry. I can say that over. Y'all can chop that up however y'all do.
Hey, we raw over here. We getting all that.
Yeah, we getting all that, man. So at The Real Sam Goodie.
Yeah.
And that's it, dog.
Hey, man. I appreciate you once again.
Appreciate you.
Love you, brother.
Love you, my brother.
It's Kimar coming to you all the way live. Your favorite country cousin, your favorite Mississippian, and your best friend. You just tapped in to another great experience of mental shampoo, lathering up minds all over the world, not conforming to the ways of the world.
Absolutely.
Being transformed by the renewing of our minds.
Absolutely.
We outside, man. Peace and blessings.
One time for the good brass.
Love and respect.
Yeah.